If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Welcome to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Longing, Rusted, 17, Daybreak, Furnace, 9, Benign, Homecoming. I won't finish it. I don't want to mind control nobody out there. How you doing tonight, everybody? Hopefully everyone's doing as well as we are. Yeah.
One freight car there now. Someone's.
Wait, can it be separated like that? Or does it have to be said by the same person?
Well, we don't know. We're going to find out.
Or, what if you said it with like a weird accent? Would it work then? I guess.
Or maybe it has to be said in German.
Or Russian? German accent.
German.
Yeah, it was Hydra.
It was the Hydra.
Yeah, okay. Which is basically comic book for Nazi.
Yeah.
To a point. Right?
Yeah.
At least it was, maybe, and then it became something else.
Well, no, I mean, they're offshoot of Hitler's crew. I mean, they're supposed to be worse than the Nazis.
True. Which, it is. But hey, anyways.
Oh, yeah.
How's your week been, buddy?
So far, so good. I'm trugging along, trying to make it to Friday.
Amen. Same here.
Oh, yeah. How about yourself? How's everything been?
Yeah, not too shad.
Yep.
Yeah, copacetic again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before we get started with this movie here, on a more lighthearted note, as I was watching it earlier today, I remember there was a part in the movie, and I was equally happy and sad because I've been making that joke since Winter Soldier came out.
Oh, wait, what did you say? Something candidate?
Yeah, a Manchurian candidate.
A Manchurian, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was like, well, shit. I'm like, damn, I thought I made that one. But I guess I did not. That is okay.
You subconsciously stole it, which is okay,
Well, no, because I've been saying it since I've seen the movie Winter Soldier. Even since I read the graphic novel, who knows? I know, but back in 2006, I don't think I knew what a Manchurian candidate was.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, guys, so we hope that, all you guys are not Manchurian candidates. And if you are, well, shit, I don't know what to do for you.
I know, right? Good luck.
But yeah, guys, we're covering Civil War today. Of course, another really big, grandiose Marvel movie came out in 2016, if I'm correct. Yeah, 2016. And this one right here, it pits Team Cap versus Team Iron Man. And I was just talking with Kevin before the podcast, and I actually reread the graphic novel today. I didn't read any of the offshoots, didn't have that much time, but I did read the original 7-issue run graphic novel, and it was interesting, comparing and contrasting some of the similarities and differences from the book to the movie. Of course, like I said, I'm not like a huge stickler for a lot of exact comic details showing up in the movies, but I am one who is a stickler for taking advantage of things that shouldn't have to change.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I always ask you this for every movie review, but what were your overall thoughts on Civil War?
I enjoyed it more so watching it a second time, definitely. Also because I feel like I had a more open... then I was having a very excited, oh my gosh, this is going to be Civil War on the screen, holy crap kind of mentality. This time it was more what we've become accustomed to, the podcast mentality. Let me watch this to get an honest critique of the good and the bad that this movie presented us with, right?
Yeah.
And this time around, I noticed more things I was happy about. I still, however, did notice a good list of things I was questioning or kind of wishing that they did a little better,
Yeah.
And overall, though, I did develop new thoughts about this movie that I will share as we progress tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That I want to get your opinion on, definitely, because it was something where it's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what they did, you know? But yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. I don't want to break the news yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, as a whole, after viewing the movie, this is actually my third time watching it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
After viewing the movie again for the third time, I realized that this movie, to me, has a lot more in common with Age of Ultron than I think the movie likes to admit. And yeah, we're gonna
actually. That's very similar to another thought I had. Yeah, like I had that written down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be very fun. So strap in, guys. Once again, I'm going to say this now and put this out in the open. For anyone who's been listening to this podcast for any length of episodes knows that I have certain feelings about a certain Marvel villain whose name starts with a Z, ends with emo.
Yep.
And I thought about it before we even started recording tonight, and I was like, you know what? Out of the 37 previous podcasts that we've recorded, I probably shit on Zemo in at least 18 of those.
Is this 38?
It might be. And I realized that I've shit on him enough. If you guys have been listening to the podcast for any length of time, I'm sure you've heard me shit on Zemo. So I'm going to try to keep my shitting to a minimal.
Don't worry, buddy. I haven't done too much. I'll do it tonight.
That's a true bro.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into it here.
Yeah.
So it starts off in 1991.
Stop you right there.
Yep.
Okay, so timeline-wise, I did not think Tony to be so young whenever this happened, I mean...
All right, so
how old do you think he was whenever his parents passed away?
in Iron Man 1...
I'll say passed away, but that's technically not the case.
In Iron Man 1, I believe, Iron Man 1 or Iron Man 2, I believe Tony says that he was... Yeah, in Iron Man 1, at the very beginning when they're doing like the montage when Tony's getting the award, I think they said he took over his father's company at 20? It was like 18 through 20. He was somewhere in there. So there's like 3 years to play with.
Okay. So we'll assume that happened same time frame, 1991, right?
It had to have been. Yeah.
It had to have been. Mm-hmm. This is present day for them, which was 2016,
right?
So add 15 years to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that right?
No.
20s. Oh, never mind. Okay, that works out better then. Because when I first saw that, I was just kind of like, that doesn't feel like near enough time for Tony to be the age he became, or came off as in the movie. It's like, oh shit, you had some really rough years there, bro. Yeah. I mean, no. I don't know. I felt like that was just cutting it a little close, but that works a little bit better, Yeah. Maybe I just didn't math it correctly.
Yeah, that would have been a weird mistake for them to make.
Right, like off the cuff. Like, damn, guys. Tony's really young on the team.
Yeah.
No wonder he acts the way he does sometimes.
Oh, well.
But I digress. You were saying.
Yeah, so the movie kicks us off here in 1991, and they're... it's dinner time, and you just got home from a long day's work. You don't know what you want to eat. You don't really feel like cooking, so you reach into the back of the fridge and you pull out one of those Buc-ee's you bought, and you realize you can just thaw out the Buc-ee and have that for dinner.
I don't remember that scene.
Well, then you and I watch different movies.
We probably did.
No, but seriously, they do thaw out a Buc-ee and they put it on the grill.
Yep. They grill them with that electric grill.
Yep.
How far can we carry the pun? Let's see.
And like we've already stated earlier, they say the triggering words in order to awaken the Manchurian Candidate. Now, had I had enough time, guys, because I love a good conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. I certainly only believe like very little of them, but the Manchurian Candidate has always been one of the more intriguing ones, simply because it's just a really cool concept. Brainwashing someone and then doing something to trigger them to do what you want them to do.
Right. Kind of like a different version of the help me out here. The American Alpha idea.
Oh, the MK Ultra.
There it is.
Very
MK Ultra.
Very similar thing. And what makes it so cool here is that, of course, MK Ultra was developed by the Nazis. Yeah. It was originally developed by the Nazis, and then the American CIA took that and tried to develop it ourselves, which is pretty damning.
Right. Yeah. And then there was like a couple of movies made about it. I think more recently with Jesse Eisenberg, I think, which was kind of more comedy.
It was. That was called American Ultra. Yeah.
Right.
He was an MK Ultra patient. Yeah. There was
That's
one,
where
I
got
think.
The name from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there was a movie with Will Smith. It may have even been called Manchurian Candidate. I forget.
Okay.
Like back in like the late 90s or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they whispered. Well, they don't whisper. That'd be weird.
Long King, rusted. Oh, that got creepy.
That got
quick.
Exactly. But no, they say these code words to awaken the Winter Soldier. After they've pan-fry his brain, and they send him
olive oil.
No olive oil. No, just straight
meat to pan.
Yep. And he goes on a mission here, and we see this scene a couple of different times throughout the movie, but in this scene we don't see a whole lot. We just see him driving down a lone road. He pulls up next to a car. He fires a single bullet. The car immediately stomps into a tree. Like, that was a good shot, Bub.
Exactly, yeah.
And he at this point, I think in the beginning, we just see him. We don't even see him actually go in and kill them. We just see him open up the trunk, and then there's 5 blue packets.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where it leaves us there. Wondering, whoa, who was in the car? What are the blue packets?
Yeah, they don't answer that, and that's another thought we'll have to, I'll say, dig into later. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but then what happens next, my friend?
So next we come to Legos. One thing about this movie here is that they love telling us exactly where we're at.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah. So next we're in Legos, or Lagos, there we go. And it's current day. And there's the New Avengers team. And this is the one and only mission we see the New Avengers do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we kind of see them back at the airport. That's the symbol there.
Yeah.
With the few added members, because Hawkeye wasn't part of the team, and neither was Ant-Man.
Also true, yeah. Good point.
Those two are like last quarter recruits.
These guys were kind of like the auditioning roles, even though Hawkeye was more like a callback, like, hey, we need to hire you again, man.
Right. Pretty much, yeah.
You're an elite employee, and we really need the holiday help.
Yeah. So we get this opening mission here, and they're in Lagos, and they're trying to track down Crossbones. Apparently, they've been tracking him for 6 months now. And it is a really cool opening scene we get here. It's another one of those opening set piece scenes, with a lot of action and all that. Crossbones and the crew, they wreck their giant ass dump truck thing into the Institution for Infected Diseases. By golly, why does such a place exist so close to everybody?
I know, right? It's like having the CCD in a major city like Atlanta. Yeah. It's like, I guess that's easier to get to, but can we put that out in the middle of nowhere, please?
Right.
Who planned this? Did I say that right? I'm questioning myself. CCD? The Center for Controlled Disease? Yeah.
It was the CDC, Center for Disease Control.
That's why my brain was telling me, no, Kevin, red light. Thank you. CDC. Thank you.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and say this, guys. Like, this was a really cool opening scene here. A really cool opening action set piece.
Yeah. And we got to see the chemistry of how the teams developed between movies.
Right. Yeah, they have some practice, and so we definitely see that in play here.
Yeah.
My question is, because I'm sure they probably mentioned this, but I just missed it.
What's up?
Who is Crossbones working for?
He mentioned he had a boss.
Yeah, he mentioned
it, but we never get back to it. Ever. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Zemo.
Listen, Zemo's plan is convoluted as it is.
He called Crossbones. Okay, I need you to work with a couple of angry ex-Wakandans. Okay, I need you to steal this rare metal. Okay. Yeah, no. I doubt his chessboard was that extensive.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
But no, I had no idea because that's frankly one of many things that we never go back to.
Mm-hmm, it is. Yeah. So Crossbones.
Thanos made a phone call.
Right. Crossbones is kind of a throwaway, and I will go ahead and say this here and now. Yeah, he's a complete throwaway.
Yeah.
This movie, I think, would have fared a lot better if they had just completely taken Zemo out of the equation. Mm-hmm. If you had to have an antagonist in the movie, then make it Crossbones and have him be like a constant threat all throughout.
That would have been a lot better. Yeah. Plus, he had decent acting power doing that.
You had Frank Grillo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's good.
Oh, yeah. He's way good.
Don't you dare just give him the Purges. Come on. Right. He does better than that.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. No offense to the Purges. The first one was good. I liked it. Yeah. Anyways.
But so while he's in there, though, he takes like this kind of biological disease in a vial, and it explodes with him as Scarlet Witch is able to like encapsulate him and throw his ass into a building, essentially.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I think she just meant to go straight up, I'm assuming.
I guess, yeah. I mean... At that point, it's like, what do you want to do with him? Do you want to make him a fancy-ass firework, I guess? And just, like, send him skyrocket high as your power can allow you to go?
I guess so. My question is, like, she was able to shield him... Because she was able to shield Cap from the explosion.
Right. Like, she encompassed the entirety of the explosion. Right.
But then I guess she released that once she got it into the building?
I can't remember. Something happened that threw her off her game. Because she was already focusing hard. You could tell that there was strain as she encompassed this whole explosion, which probably, would have leveled the whole building on ground level like that,
It would have.
Instead, she's like trying to lift it up and do the whole fireworks shenanigan. Yeah. And then something happened that like threw her down. I remember one side going down, I think.
I think maybe he was just heavier than she thought. I don't know.
Or the explosion was too much to lift, maybe?
That could have been it, too.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, it was a weird but decent accident to really start off what it did.
Yeah.
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 It was more like, okay, that was not the best way it could have been done.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, though, I try not to fault the movie for this because it'd be really hard to do what happened in the comics, where you have the New Warriors reality TV show. Like you can't really set that all up in the movie and then execute it.
I was about to say, because it was the explosion near a school in the comic book, right? You read it very recently, obviously.
Yeah.
I have not stolen it from you yet, so I have not read it. That's how I get all my comics, guys. If you haven't known this by this point, that's literally like, hey, Q, that's a nice book. Can I borrow that? Yeah, Kevin, no problem, man. And I give it back weeks later in all seriousness, but in the meanwhile, it's me just like, ooh, flip page. But, yeah, no, I've read this one before.
Yeah.
Long ago, and I remember it was nuclear explode. What's the villain's name? The guy who explodes.
It was Nitro.
Thank you. Yeah. I could not remember. Yeah, and he exploded, causing a big catastrophe, and that was the domino that kickstarted. Everything. Cool. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, so that was essentially what happened here is that these group of young people who were they have superpowers, but they were definitely out of their depth.
They were kind of like referred to as the B-rate team, right?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Really didn't have any business having a reality show, better yet taking down other supervillains. Mm-hmm. And Nitro exploded near a school. I mean, he actually got slammed into a school bus, and then he exploded near a school, killing hundreds of people. I think it was like 600 in the comics.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So here... I mean, obviously they can't do that, so they just compromise the best way they can.
They still had an explosion.
Yeah, still had an explosion. Yeah. A lot of people still died, and in this universe here in the MCU, it's more like this is just the straw that broke the camel's back type deal.
Right. Which in this case, it was sensible. Mm-hmm. It worked. Like, okay, first you guys tore up a quarter of New York City, which is a big ass city, so a quarter is a lot.
Yeah,
especially with space worms. Okay. And then, of course, the events of Avengers 2, where a whole city.
Yep. So, well, even before we get to Sokovia, they show the events of Winter Soldier with the helicarriers crashing.
Oh, very true. I forgot about that one. And then Avengers 2.
Then Avengers 2. They didn't even mention like Incredible Hulk 1, like when he tears up half of Harlem. You know?
True. Yeah, they didn't have the rights to show that one.
But it was made by the MCU.
Oh no, I meant the government in the movie. They didn't have the rights to show.
Oh shit. Oh damn.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Moving on here, we get the young Tony flashback. With
Yeah,
his
that was
tech.
a little weird watching it a second time. Yeah.
I mean, it felt more like Marvel showing off their fancy money and de-aging technology.
Right.
I mean, they did it in Ant-Man, with Hank Pym in the very beginning, and that they really wanted to do it again here.
True.
Michael Douglas wasn't enough. They said, let's do Robert Downey Jr. I thought it looked pretty good, though. What'd you think?
I mean, it did. They did well.
I don't know if they had like a body double for Robert, though. I think they may have.
I think they probably used one.
Yeah.
The CG didn't get on my nerves or anything. It was more the voice, really. Because you're getting a 20-year-old Robert Downey Jr. who sounds just like present-day Robert Downey Jr. He doesn't sound like he's 20. He sounds like he's 40 plus,
Yeah.
Or however old Robert Downey Jr. is in the movies,
Right.
And it's like...
I'm trying to think, like, how much has my voice changed in just the last 10 years since I was 20?
I'm sure it has.
I'm sure it has, too.
I mean,
It's just
I don't
hard
keep
to...
track of that shit. Yeah. Actually, now we can go back
That's true.
after 10 years and listen to us.
10 years from now, we can go back and be like, man, when I was 29, like, I sounded like a chipmunk or whatever.
I'm not sure if I... Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. But, that's the only part where I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah. It's called the binarily augment retro framing, BARF.
Cool glasses.
Yep. Which you said cost $611 million to develop. That is an ungodly amount of money.
Exactly.
For you to like relive this painful memory.
Basically, and that's what he makes fun of in the movie too.
Right.
Like, $611 million for this little therapy exercise.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know I wouldn't want to fork over that,
Right. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, he's at is it MIT? It's MIT. Yeah, and he's there, I guess, just basically showing off that technology. He's not giving that to them.
Right.
I guess he used that as a demonstration to be like, look, guys, because of my money, I was able to make this a reality, and I'm giving you guys a huge grant so you guys can...
So all your projects have been approved.
Yeah, and approved and funded and all that good stuff. Let's see, we get the principal from Community.
Yeah.
Looks like he's a principal here, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one thing about the Russos,
That's true.
They loved using people from the show.
That is very true. The Abed from in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to pull out some Childish Gambino. Use him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Donald Glover, he is doing the Star Wars movie under Disney.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how hard it'd be just to bring him over, but...
Yeah, good point.
Oh, I mean, he wasn't Homecoming.
Also true. Wait, did the Russos do that? No, I didn't think so.
No.
Do you think the Russos would be allowed to do the one... No, never mind. That's Brie Larson, not Alison Brie. So, totally different.
Yep.
They need Britta to come in. I know no one wants to work with Chevy Chase anymore, so... No offense to Chevy. But, anyways.
Yeah. So he's reading from like a teleprompter here, and at the end he gets, kind of choked up when he's supposed to bring out Pepper, and supposed to lead us to, sense that there's trouble with him and Pepper. And anyway, so he gets off the stage and all that, and he's going to leave, and he's met by this lady at the elevator.
I recognized her. Who was that?
So we discussed this before, Kevin.
I know we did, dadgummit, but discuss it with me again. Because I forget.
She was in Luke Cage.
The politician.
Yep.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I knew we talked about it. I knew I would forget, and I did. I held my end of the bargain. Either way, Yeah, no, it was definitely an impactful, short little meeting.
It was. Rereading the graphic novel, it did remind me of a part that I forgot about.
What's that?
It was after the Stanford explosion, when Tony Stark was at the funeral attendance for all the people and kids that lost their lives. As he was leaving the funeral, this lady approached him, and she was very upset, very angry. She yelled at him, spit in his face, and said, "This is all your fault. All that blood is on your hands." This is definitely, their version of this here in the movie.
Right. With less saliva.
Yeah, with less saliva, yeah. Because in the comics, that woman played a very impactful part on Tony, as did the woman here at the elevator,
right,
play a very impactful part. I guess Miss Spencer, her son's name was Charlie Spencer.
Right, yeah.
So, in the comics, her name was Miss Sharp.
Okay.
Yeah, potato.
That does make me feel better about this, but notice, this is one of the similarities between our boy Ultron and this movie. That all started because of a distraught Tony as well. Right. He was really impacted by some big revelation, in that case of Vision, in this case, this lady and her brash, true opinion here. I'm sorry, I said opinion, but more correctly it would be her tragedy that, happened to her family. And it's like, oh, Tony's distraught. This is gonna be just, this is gonna organize some future bullshit that's about to happen. Yeah. So I
guess
there.
My thing here is, how did she know Tony was going to be right there in that spot? Because she was there, ready and waiting at the elevator.
Honestly, it looked like a backstage entrance, and it's not hard for me to believe that the backstage would have one convenient exit right there.
So she was there waiting for Tony.
Essentially, I imagine she was actually somewhere within earshot of the whole speech he gave, and thus when it ended, she knew, oh, let me get in my little planned position here to really...
So Zemo's not the only one with elaborate plans in this movie.
Well, hers was a little less elaborate, luckily, especially in comparison.
Yeah.
But, out of context, it is kind of like a... You took a crapshoot and you won.
Right.
It was a hard crapshoot, but you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she spends this whole tale about her son Charlie Spencer, who was this really good kid, really great student. He was in Sokovia when shit hit the fan.
Yeah,
and
doing some cool stuff apparently.
Doing some really cool stuff, and he was a casualty.
Yeah.
So she's upset about that, and it has a really strong impact on Tony.
Thus, she, in her anger, ran off and became a thorn in the side of Luke Cage.
That's exactly what she did.
That's exactly what happened. First, she got mad at her cousin. Go watch Luke Cage on Netflix.
So 11 Wakandans also died in Lagos as well.
I also wrote that down.
Yep.
Yes.
Which prompts King T'Chaka and his son Prince T'Challa to go to the Stanford Accords, or Sokovia Accords.
Sokovia Accords, right.
That's me getting the comics mixed up. Anyways, so this is one of those moments, folks, where I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, yeah, never mind. Here we go. There's a meeting here of Secretary of State, who is General Ross. We haven't seen this man since Incredible Hulk.
I know, right? Yeah.
All enough, you think he'd at least mention Hulk once. We don't get any of that.
Yeah, nothing. Well, or at least a joke about it. Like, well, aside from chasing big green bastards...
Oh, no, he did. He did?
Yeah. Remind me.
He when Cap had some kind of retort to the proposal, Ross asked him, "Oh, okay, so where's Hulk and Thor right now? Where's Banner and Thor right now?"
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, he made reference to it,
right?
But it was less of a what you'd imagine. Like, less of a okay. So where's Thor? And now where's Hulk? Like that extra spite, that thick layer of spiteful butter on the toast. It's like, where the fuck is this little green piece of shit? I'm gonna turn red because of him. Horrible.
Yep.
All right.
So it's in this scene here. Oh, I mean, I guess before this scene, we can just talk a little bit about the fact that Wanda is, rightfully upset about what went down, and that's definitely understandable.
Right.
It was an accident that did cost people their lives.
Yeah.
And there's also Vision here, who's wearing like a
yeah, he's kind of spiffy.
He
learned how to dress very quickly.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if he is also the internet, then he can look it up and be like, what's fashionable?
Exactly. Like, what's a good fashion? I like this. This fits my intellect.
Yep.
It's like, okay, he avoided the baggy pants. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And he does not like to use doors.
No.
I guess what would you? Wouldn't I guess they'd be like a waste of time.
Basically, in all the logic, it's like, why use a door if I can like treat walls like air?
Right.
You know, like why if I can Kitty Pryde this, then you know. So you can't get that mad at him, but I can understand. It's like, bruh, my privacy, please. You know, especially in her case, where it's like I'm a girl and you're walking up in my room and you're the form of a dude.
Yeah.
Form of, but still, whatever. You get my point.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah. But so this meeting here with General Ross was pretty interesting here, and this is where some of my this is where some of my minor complaints start to kick in here. So General Ross, he's talking to the Avengers here. All of them, everyone, except for Thor and Hulk, of course.
Right. A majority.
Right.
And Hawkeye.
Yeah, and Hawkeye. Yeah. And but he's talking to them, and he's basically like, look, essentially you guys need to be under government supervision. That's the only way that we're gonna legally allow you guys to function. Look at what happened, like you said earlier. Look at what happened in New York. Look at this scene with Winter Soldier, when the helicarriers, and look at this with Sokovia. And my thing is like, okay, a lot of people died in New York, but the world would have literally been destroyed had the Avengers not been there.
True.
Almost same thing with Winter Soldier. Had the helicarriers not come down, 10 million people would have been killed by the helicarrier satellites.
True, because those all had guns aiming down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sokovia, had Ultron succeeded with his plan, then the entire world again would have been destroyed.
Right. Like all three of those were world-ending plots that,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like people losing their lives is always a sad and tragic thing. Right. However, you have to look at the grand scheme of things. You have to look at the scope of it all. And I think that it becomes pretty easy to realize that the plan that you're offering here, the only defense that I have for it is that this is just a shitty attempt by the government to gain control of the world's greatest superpowers.
Right.
But that's just me writing fan fiction for the movie at this point. Because Tony, as smart as he is all on board with it.
Right, which, whatever. But... That did, honestly, and now I feel like it is as good a time as any to bring up a little question I wanted to ask you. Mm-hmm. Now, it's no secret, to me at least, which side you would have chosen had you been extended an invitation to either, if the Civil War were real life happening right now. Mm-hmm. Which one would you choose, just for clarification?
Team Cap.
Of course. Yep. No surprise there. When we played Ultimate Alliance 2, he would always, we played together, and he introduced the game to me, guys, and literally we're sitting down on the couch... And we're playing our characters, and he's just like, we're choosing Team Cap. Well, there's different achievements for Iron Man's side. I mean, do you want to get these this time?
No.
We're doing Team Cap.
Yep. And you know what's funny?
Okay.
I played this game back in, I think, 2008 when it first came out or whatever. I've played the game at least 3 times to completion. I'm on my 4th playthrough now, and I still have yet to choose Team Iron Man.
I noticed that. I joked about it last time when I saw you. But yeah. That being said, I wanted to extend the question to you guys. Now, of course, it's going to play to be rhetorical since I can't hear your response. But let us know what you're thinking. Which side do you think is, quote unquote, the more right? Or in other words, the side that you believe is correct for you.
Right. And why?
And why, please? That would be fascinating to read about. Because maybe you'd have a point of view to help with us or something. I know what I would have chosen as well.
Yeah.
I'm obviously Team Cap as well. Only because really, yes, it is horrible that a large percentage of people did pass away, and that should be, focused on. That way you don't have as many accidents in the future, or trying to minimize those essentially in your efforts to save the world. But again, these were world-ending plots. That's something that the rest of the world isn't going to know, yeah, sure, a lot of people in New York City got to see the space worms and all the, Chitauri coming out of the daggum sky. But the rest of the world is going to be like, oh, there's a huge tragedy, and the Avengers didn't stop it. That's going to give me their mentality because they don't know the whole picture. That's literally the case with all these plots. So it's like, what's this plan going to do to stop that?
Yeah,
it's not going to control it anymore.
It really isn't, and I feel
that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
but
and for the sake of the movie, Cap does make a really good point. Not that he has to, but he makes a really good point regardless. And he goes,
"What's that?
What if there's an emergency and the agency doesn't send us? So
Very
then
true.
What, are we just supposed to sit here and not go help?"
I know, right? That's another great point of view. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because at that point, and also he makes another point that was so good I even wrote it down if I can find it.
I guess he kind of had to in this case too because it was his movie.
It's true. This is technically his movie. But no, he makes this point later on, so I'm going to hold it off till then.
Oh, okay, sure. That's a good point.
Right. But yeah, also just for the sake of comparison here, though, this is another area where the movie strays from the comic, from the source material. I've mentioned this before. We've mentioned this in the past about how Logan strayed far from the source material,
sure,
as did Winter Soldier. But both of those movies are equally as good as their source material, although they're so different from their source material.
Like they did something great with their creative,
The thing
choices.
of it is, though, is that the reason why they succeeded is because even though they're so vastly different from the source material, is because they still understood the underlying theme of what they were supposed to accomplish and tell us. They still understood the nature of the characters and the overarching theme of the story. That was still, inside these movies.
That's a well said synopsis of something we've described in so many words in the past.
Yeah,
very much so. Yeah.
This movie, this is where it begins to fray from that main ordeal, because the thing about the Superhero Registration Act in the source material was that whole thing was it was brought up so that they would all sign aboard with S.H.I.E.L.D., which of course in the MCU S.H.I.E.L.D. is no more, so I get that. But the part that I don't understand is the vast differences, mostly being the fact that the Superior Registration Act was something also that the people said they wanted because it made them feel more safe. And or at least in the story, that gave Tony's team a little bit more leverage over Cap, regardless of like who was technically right or wrong. In the end, Cap realized that the people want this, so why,
that makes sense. Yeah. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. And then they didn't really play that card in the movie. Like, they didn't really share the public's opinion or vote or something. Yeah,
the only public opinion we got was Miss Spencer, who met Tony at the elevator.
Right.
Okay,
that's actually a really, really powerful point you're bringing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it was like...
Right. Because the people are the reason why Cap ceases the war in the story. Yeah. And in this, it boils down to something that's almost sophomoric in comparison. Like the fights between Cap and Tony is not even about that. It becomes something that's not even about the registration.
No, that's where I really started to just almost get bored with that part of the movie. This movie has great action, which definitely roped me back in. Yeah. And of course, we'll brag on that. In accordance later here. But no, you're right. Like when they really strayed, because even though I haven't read the comic in that long, I knew for damn sure that the comic was not a war based on the friendship with Winter Soldier Bucky here. Like what the hell is that? No, exactly. So. Yeah, at this point, whenever all this is beginning, and then all of a sudden, like, Bucky gets in the picture, and that becomes, like, another deciding factor for the whole damn war.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not as into this anymore.
Yeah, and once again, I'm not, we're not one of those comic book purists who has to have things exactly like the source material. But once you,
weird.
It was, and once you lose once you forget what the purpose was of the source material, then you start to lose your way.
Right.
And that kind of happens in this movie.
Like, I don't want this to come off to any, like hardcore Advent Civil War fan out there who loved both comic and movie, but I don't know, it felt like at this point a lot of stuff was just like being jammed. Like you got too big of a sandwich, you're putting too much shit in there already, and then you still say, actually I want pickles in that too, and I want some onion, and I want caramelized onion because I'm that big of a fan. And then, put some olive oil and salt and pepper on that. Like, the people at Subway hate you right now. You can't fold that. I loved where that metaphor was going, so I couldn't stop. But you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see.
And then you get 2 damn cookies and chips, you piece of
That's like a $15 meal right
I know,
there.
right? Like, you're not going to Subway for less calories. You're just going to Subway because you were that damn hungry and it was right there.
Yeah. Let's see.
I don't even know about that. We're not advertising people.
Yeah. Next up, Zemo breaks into a former colonel's home and steals what I call the control book.
Yeah, the Star Notebook. Which, honestly, that would have been cool. Not product placement, but that would have been a cool potential marketing. Like, you could have sold that exact notebook.
Right.
I'm sure someone would have got on that. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe even I would have got it. Who knows?
Exactly. That'd be our comic book, like, podcast episodes notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for this scene right here, Zemo, he feigns that his car is he accidentally rans into, like, the guy's car.
Right.
It's like, oh, sorry, guy. And long story short, he breaks into this colonel's home. This was one of the colonels who helped with the whole experimentation on Bucky.
Yeah.
One of the guys who had the notebook that had the control
One
words.
of the Hydra agents.
Right. And my thing is like, okay, so Zemo's plan as a whole is to get the Avengers to kill each other. That is his plan.
Right.
You don't really need Bucky to do
like again. Charlie's mom earlier took a real long crap shoot. Like, she sat there with a little rifle hoping to make a sniper shot, whereas this guy, no, he was just like, nah. I think I could hit that target from across the state with this plot line. Like, I'm hoping that this frozen guy is going to initiate this war. Like, he had no idea what he was going to. That's what you're saying, right? Yeah. Just wanted to clarify that for everybody. Because you're right. What the hell?
Right. and then we're gonna get here, people, but there's just so much about this plan that still makes me.
We still have to hate it a little bit.
Yes.
Even if we say we weren't gonna hate Zemo, excuse me, I keep saying his name wrong. Zemo earlier, we're still gonna hate on him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, because you deserve it, Zemo. And it's terrible because I think that Daniel Brühl really could have handled a Zemo-like role.
Yeah.
But I almost wish that they didn't name him Zemo. I said this in the previous podcast, but his name could have been Dick Sniffer. I said Dick Sniffer, it could have been his name. It was in the comics versus movies podcast where I mentioned him and I called him Dick Sniffer.
Yeah. You can go check now if you want, guys.
Yep.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
Oh, we did forget something actually.
What's up?
Peggy. Yeah, that happened.
No, not yet.
Yeah, no, because Cap in the middle got a text saying it happened. She passed away.
Not yet.
Yeah. No?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. I could have sworn that happened in the first meeting.
Nope.
Because that's why he was like, I gotta go.
No, that's not in that one. That's not in that meeting. They have a secret meeting about whether or not they're going to sign or not. That's when that happens.
Thank you. Okay. Hey, spoiler. We're loaded with them.
But yeah, I mean, we're about there now. So now we're back in the living room quarters of the new Avengers base. And they're discussing the logistics of it and whether or not they should sign or not. And of course, half the team is split on, or half the team wants to do it, half the team doesn't really. Yeah.
And I think one of them even says, "Stop playing both sides" or something like that. Yeah, they're arguing kind of intently about this. Yeah.
Vision has an algorithm that really makes no sense.
Yeah. Like, you hear him talking in the moment, it sounds cool because he's Jarvis and he's got that cool ass accent. But thinking about it post movie. Why don't you help us clarify that, Q? Tell us what he was talking about.
Yeah, so essentially, Vision's algorithm was basically like, the Avengers could be a reason for all the destruction. A la Batman. They say if there's no Batman, there'd be no Joker. Hence, if there's no Batman, then maybe crime would actually reduce.
In other words, I do recall this part, like the challenge wouldn't be there because there wouldn't be such a good power there. Yeah. Which, I mean, it isn't exactly illogical,
But it doesn't apply in the sense of this movie, because the examples that General Ross mentioned had nothing to do with whether or not they were Avengers. The Avengers had to assemble to take down Loki in Avengers 1.
Right.
There were no Avengers then.
No. Yeah.
And in Avengers 2, they had to come together to take down Ultron. Ultron was going to complete his role regardless.
Even though he was created by Avengers.
He was created by two of them.
Correction.
Really just one primarily.
Primarily, yeah. Where Bruce was kind of dragged along.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was definitely like, oh shit, this experiment went really weird. Let's take care of it. Yeah.
Right. So like,
and it would be the same for Thanos.
Yeah. I mean, the only time it applies is with Thanos, because Thanos is coming to Earth.
Yeah.
I think in part to gather all the gems, but also in part to kick some Avengers' ass.
Right. That's true, because at this point he has to know they're here, thus they would be the most appropriate challenge for him and his amassed power.
I mean, at the end of Avengers 1, his little butt buddy henchman, I forget his name.
Damn, dude.
He said
the Chitauri monk dude.
Yeah, the Chitauri leader guy or whatever. He said that to battle the Avengers is to court death, and then that put a smile on Thanos' face.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the only time that Vision's algorithm applies. Here and every time prior, it really doesn't. So Tony, he tells the story of Charlie Spencer, and it's here where he's talking about how this apparently this is like the greatest kid ever. He had a 3.6 GPA. He was extremely smart, and on his time off of school, he didn't go to Vegas or Cancun or some other place. He went to Sokovia to help.
Right.
And,
which, I mean, Tony's charisma, Robert's charisma at this point, he can pull it off. He can make him sound like, hey, this kid's a shit.
Yeah.
He's convincing.
Yeah, he's convincing. Yeah.
So it sounds good. Yeah.
It sounds really good, but once again, no one's thinking about the grand picture here. Yeah. I mean, one kid died. All the kids would have died had the Avengers not been there.
True. Yeah. Which you think someone as logical as Tony Stark would have been behind that?
Right. Also, Jarvis. You think so? Someone like a computer.
Right, especially a computer, like someone that logical or something that logical. But yes, exactly.
And it's at this point where Cap, where I had to write down this quote from Cap because it just made too much sense.
You mentioned that earlier.
Right. It's here where he says, what does he say here? Oh yeah, he says it.
Buddy?
No, I was trying to find where I left.
Oh, okay.
And no, he says this in reference to the Sokovia Accords and to the Avengers as a whole. He goes, if the Avengers are ran by people with an agenda, he said the Avengers would be ran by people with an agenda, and agendas change. In other words, Cap is saying that right now our agenda is to be a peacekeeping group.
Yeah.
To protect and save the world from any and all threats. If we work for this other agency, for the government, then
our agenda changes to theirs, and theirs is very flexible.
Exactly.
It'll go to and fro.
Yeah, and you can't blame Cap because that's essentially the plot of Winter Soldier. He was doing all this work under Nick Fury and getting pissed because Nick Fury had his own agenda.
Right. I mean, he constantly found evidence that Nick Fury was hiding secrets and lying here and there. Like, oh, what's this big ass gun? What is this? Yeah. So it's very true, and he's definitely scarred from his past, which helps kind of color in this opinion.
Right.
So it's completely understandable, really, even sympathetic to a point with Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, I don't know. It just makes all the sense in the world, but And it's here that Cap gets the text message saying that Peggy died in her sleep.
There it is. Yeah. See, I didn't make that up.
Just had it in the wrong spot.
And see, he learned how to text.
Or he learned how to get text.
True, because he didn't respond.
No.
He just kind of looks at it, looks up, I gotta go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, in London, they have Peggy's funeral, and Steve is a pallbearer. I'm like, you could have been the pallbearer.
I know, right? He could have been... I guess that would have been, like, too flashy at this point. Yeah. Plus, I'm sure she's had, like, a son and someone else at this point.
It'd probably be like a grandson.
Yeah, she was... She lived to be a good ripe age.
Yeah.
And then here we get another big reveal.
Yep, we get the Sharon Carter reveal. And, you know, technically they made this reveal in Winter Soldier here, but they nail it home here.
Right. Like, the evidence was there in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But for some reason, our boy Steve just wasn't paying attention or something.
I guess.
And so him seeing her behind the mic at the eulogy was like, oh, puzzle pieces. Oh, they're already overlapping. I guess I'll push them onto each other. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And she gives a good talk about her aunt.
Right.
Would have had to have been her great aunt.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it could have been there. Yeah. I mean, I still have a great uncle. Yeah. So
yeah. But anyways, though, she gives this speech that applies a whole lot to the theme of the movie here, which is, you know, like, stand your ground. You know, basically, you don't move, you tell them to move.
Right. It was this eulogy that really helped put Cap where he wanted to be. Like, he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna stand. Yeah, I'm gonna use my shield and just
Yep.
just like that.
After the funeral, Steve and Natasha, they speak for a moment, you know, about the Accords and all that. They both knew that Cap wasn't going to sign and all that. But, you know, at this point, they're friends because we've seen them be friends in the other movies. So this makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounded like something a producer said in the screenwriting of this movie. Yeah. Like, they're going to be friends because that's how it played out in the past movie.
Yep. And this is really just me throwing shade at the whole Tony and Steve.
Right, which I obviously couldn't tell. Yeah.
Next we go to Vienna, and this is where they signed, this is where they signed the Sokovia Accords. And in my notes here, it's a good thing that, like, I have, like, keywords that remind me of what the hell is going on in the movie here, because I just have Wakanda Forever written on here.
Yeah. And, actually, I want to share a point. Do you remember the speech that T'Chaka was making at this point? Do you remember the wording at all? Because that's what my comment's going to be about right here.
Not particularly.
No. If you go back and listen to it and think about it out of context, it sounded like he was right there about to expose Wakanda. Like, he was saying stuff like, yeah, we've been hiding in the shadows for too long, and we've been watching the world for some time.
You're right.
And out of context, now, he was saying one other thing, of course, yes, but out of context, he sounded like he was about to say, you know, Wakanda, we are the most powerful nation. There's no question. And we've been hiding, and we've been, you know, taking care of our people and our precious resources for so long now. It's time we reveal that. Like, I half expected him watching this movie post Black Panther to press a button, and all of a sudden his Invisa jet plane would have shown up behind the window, and T'Challa would have just been like, "Oh shit, this is too early, Dad. You broke our plot line."
But we're in a time paradox now, Dad.
Like, go back and watch the movie, guys. I'm serious. Like, it sounds out of context. Like, it's time that we come out to help the world. Like, he's saying literally, almost line by line, what
that's a good point. I did not think about that. That's a really good point.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very good point. But he doesn't, because he dies in an explosion.
Exactly, yeah, which was super unfortunate. Like, shit.
It was, yeah. It was a really cool shot, though, when T'Challa sees that something's not right.
Yeah.
And he goes to dive to save his father, but the explosion, like, literally pushes him out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, he had impeccable timing looking out the window at that van where the cop was just all of a sudden, like, stepping back, with that body language and...
Yeah,
and that was a big ass bomb.
It was to hit that building on
from
that
across
floor.
the street on the ground level, and they were like a good 5 or 6 floors up. People, right? Okay, yeah. This wasn't outside the driveway.
No. You know, it would have been hilarious as if there was no bomb and T'Challa just dove and tackled his dad for no reason.
It's like, what are you doing, son? I love you, Dad. I just needed to hug you right now.
Right this very moment.
It's like, son, I appreciate your love and your bodyguard attitude, but I was in the middle of a speech.
Yeah, I was in the middle of a talk.
For some peaceful talks here.
Now people are going to think that Wakandans are crazy. Oh, man. Yep. Okay. But yeah, King T'Chaka is killed in this explosion.
Yes.
And of course, it's blamed on Bucky. Yep.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, out of context, I cannot piece how the hell they put that together. You know? Like, was he even around this area at the time?
This is where the plot also gets convoluted.
Exactly.
And they do a really peaceful job of explaining it. So
right.
Zemo was able to get like a rubber face replica mask of Bucky's face. They don't really explain where it came from.
I honestly don't even remember this part. Please continue. Yeah. Like, this is fascinating now. I've watched the movie multiple times, and I still can't remember this part. I'm not sure if this is sad on theirs or mine or all parts, but wow.
Please because they really skip over it.
Yeah.
And
so he basically impersonates, quote unquote, Bucky.
Yeah, he impersonates Bucky,
even though he doesn't have a cool ass metal arm. But yeah. Sure.
I guess just like a jacket or something. So
okay, yeah, I'll give him that, but still.
Yeah, and so he had that on. I hope I'm not making this up. I'm pretty sure this is what happened because Bucky says that he wasn't even in that country in Vienna.
No, he wasn't.
He was in Bucharest. That's where he was at.
We see him buying 2 plums in a foreign language.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. He was in a place called Bucharest, and he said he wasn't even in Vienna. So yeah, that's just another really weird part of the plot. My thing is, Winter Soldier. At this point, people know. I can understand that people know that this Winter Soldier does exist. What I don't buy is that everybody all of a sudden knows his name. Like he's James Buchanan Barnes. I don't buy that people know exactly what this guy looks like. The only defense that I can come up with for the movie is that Black Widow did release a lot of information about S.H.I.E.L.D. and all, and Hydra.
Right. Which they did make a throwback to, saying the whole, you told the government they can kiss your ass type thing, which, you gave us something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a strong something to stand on.
Right.
And I did look it up real quick because I was super curious why the hell I didn't remember that. The only reason that you're piecing that together isn't because we saw him, like, actually make a rubber mask and try it on. No, it was all done through a video clip.
That's right.
Yeah, the footage of a security camera revealed, quote unquote, that it was that couldn't have been anybody else except Bucky Barnes. Where is he at? He's in another country. He still did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very.
I just
very
wanted
weird.
clarification for myself, you know.
And also, there's no way that he knew that Bucky was in Bucharest.
Yeah.
So if Bucky had been halfway across the world, and they found him the following day, like they do in the movie,
right? Yeah.
Then how could they possibly, like? Wouldn't there be pause? Wouldn't they think, okay, wait a minute now? There's this explosion in Vienna. Looks like it was done by Bucky, but here we found Bucky in Arkansas. Right,
which Sharon Carter helps reveal to Cap and Falcon later on, saying,
which is another straw man in this ugly plot.
Like our government was able to track a man who's been hiding himself from governments now for quite some time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back here to the plot.
I mean, where is it?
Yeah. So the next thing I have here is...
That was just me being salty.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Next thing I have here is a baseball cap and shades are the universal disguise.
Yeah, it really is. Because we saw... Actually, wait, where is it at? Give me a second. Here we go. Who am I now?
You need some shades.
You can't tell who I am. Oh, it's true. They're in the car still.
That's right.
Yeah. I just put on my baseball cap, people. Little plain blue one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what they use in the movie.
Exactly. Shit. They just use plain, literally, our boy Bucky, Cap, and Falcon are all wearing baseball caps, and the 2 of them are wearing shades. Right. So I guess I'm wannabe Sebastian Stan right now.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, let's see here. We'll leave off that. Okay. So at this point, we get the hotel breakfast scene with Zemo. Apparently, he likes a side of bacon and black coffee.
Which, I mean, who doesn't like a side of bacon?
Bacon's delicious.
I'll give it to him.
Mm-hmm. But I will say this: his scenes at this point in the movie already feel out of place.
I mean, yeah. At this point, why the hell would you carry that device upstairs to the hotel room? Because he doesn't activate in the hotel room. Remind me. So
I think he's built. I thought he was building it in there.
Okay, I'll give him that then.
Okay, yeah,
that makes sense. Because if he built it, took it upstairs with him because he was afraid someone's going to break into whatever excuse of a car he was driving.
Right.
And then he took it back down. Like, how did you get away with this?
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Actually, that would have been a cool, funny scene. How did you carry this down without anyone noticing from hotel room to car?
Also true, yeah. And so apparently...
That's me thinking too much.
Apparently also, something else here that doesn't quite add up here is that this hotel room, I believe, belonged to someone else because there was the body of the man who was supposed to interrogate Bucky. And
the psychiatrist, right, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he took the person's identity, essentially, which... Yeah. The hotel staff, I don't blame them for not really jumping on board, you know.
But shouldn't everyone else?
Like, literally, if you're going to a government facility where they hired on a psychiatrist to do this, you think they would have had picture ID, look at the card, look at him, look at the card, look at him, look at the card one more time, look at him, maybe look at your phone, and then look at him. Yeah. Wait a minute, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot to do that, apparently.
No, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, you can reenact the Old Spice commercial and be able to tell it's not him, yeah.
Oh, shit. So moving on here, we're at Bucharest now, and this is, or Bucharest, there we go, it's called Bucharest. Bucharest. And Bucky's there, like you said, buying some plums. He realizes that people give him funny looks. He's being framed for something that he didn't do. Steve finds Bucky's apartment because, like you said, Sharon Carter gave him a file that the CIA had and knew exactly where Bucky's at.
Oh, somehow.
Yep, somehow, they were to track this man down, whatever. To me, what's even more implausible is, once again, Zemo's plan. Yeah. Because his plan relies on Captain America getting to Bucky first. Right. Because Bucky has no idea that the government goons are coming to kill him. Right. They weren't coming to capture him.
He had no idea he was being framed.
Right. Yeah. And he had no idea he was being framed. He had no idea that those goons were coming. And not only that, but they were coming to kill Bucky. Right. Not capture him.
So... let me ask you this. Let's take a step away from the movie and psychologically sit back in the theater room and have the script in hand. I'm trying to rewrite it here for them, trying to help defend them, essentially. It could have made a lot more sense had our boy Zemo literally, instead of stealing the book and then taking a fake mask or whatever the hell he did to impersonate Bucky in a video offshoot, gambling the idea that the CIA would have found him, that they would have somehow had Sharon, that Sharon would have taken the information, shared it with Cap, and Cap then using it to miraculously find this guy before anyone else, which is like 4 crapshoots right there, by the way, people. I'm counting. Wouldn't it have made more sense to our boy, after he stole the notebook from said Hydra dickhead, which, okay, cool, you stole it, check, that makes sense to me so far, okay, whatever. Wouldn't it have made more sense for him to track Bucky? If he could have tracked this man who was hiding himself anyways, and then go off and find Bucky using however miraculous resource you use to find this general or this ex-Hydra man or whatever, to go find Bucky yourself, use this notebook you just obtained and stole, to brainwash him to actually make him kill, you know?
That would have made...
that would have made more sense to me.
Would have made way more sense.
Thank you.
If you actually Manchurian candidate Bucky again and have him go commit those heinous crimes.
Yeah. Like, you're smart enough, apparently, to come up with this convoluted plot. Why couldn't you have done this the whole better way? Yeah. You're literally playing pinball with your efforts, man.
I guess maybe he was worried that he couldn't get the words out fast enough.
Sure, but I mean, he's smart enough to where he would have been able to think up of some clever way.
I agree.
Yeah.
He could have.
whatever, man.
Yeah.
You took a lot of chances
Yeah,
here,
you
and
did.
you should have been playing some Russian roulette,
Right.
You know, with how good your luck
Yeah,
is.
it's also just, I don't know.
We made
whatever.
a promise we wouldn't rag on him.
But the podcast demands it.
It does, because, I mean, shit's happening and it needs to be called out.
Agreed.
That literally needs to be like the slogan on our t-shirt. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, at this point, like I said, Steve finds Bucky apartment, and the two have like a brief mini reunion before the German goons break in, German SWAT team, or whatever they are, special task
Right.
force, and with their lethal ammo, because once again, they are coming to kill Bucky.
Right.
And then Cap and Bucky are able to escape. It's a pretty cool scene here. Seeing the cool kind of action, and because they do really use their tools appropriately, you know.
Yeah.
Like I love how not everyone fights the same. You know?
Right. And that made me happy. Actually, right here, I do have a note. Vegeta from 4-Star, you know, the Dragon Ball Z dubbed episodes.
Yeah.
He would have came out from the movie and dropped his famous line when when he's referring to Broly in the movie. If you guys, like some 4-Star, there you go. But you know how in the movie he refers to Broly? He's so fucking cool.
yeah.
Like, I can hear him in the background as Bucky's like deflecting bullets with the palm of his
Right.
hand. Like, he's so fucking cool. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That made me happy to listen to him in the background, like playing the track in my mind as this was happening. But yes.
Okay. And so after a while here, they leap from the apartment to another building, an adjacent building rooftop, and we get a little bit of Black Panther versus Winter Soldier here.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty cool fight here we get.
And I kind of hate myself for thinking this, but I'm going to share it. I've hung out now. Because before, a year ago, you know me, I didn't give a shit about this, If someone CGI something, my thought's more thank you for putting in the effort to, use this technology to make this appearance happen for me, to make this imagery come to life. Instead, now, I watched that scene and I critiqued the CGI that they used with Black Panther so hard. Because if you're looking for it, it looks bad, Because in theaters, I didn't care, and I looked and I was like, oh, wow, cool fight. Now I was looking and it's like, oh, this looks kind of dadgummit, my friends who like CGI critiquing.
Honestly, I thought that the Black Panther CGI here in some areas looked better than the recent Black Panther movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to watch both and like see scenes side to side.
For me,
really
it's particularly the last fight, the Black Panther versus Golden Jaguar fight looks... To me, it just looks a little too cartoony for my taste because nothing in that environment was real.
Right.
At least here, we get, some cool. Like for example, like the jump from the rooftop, like that was.
That looked good. Yeah.
No. I mean, like they didn't jump from rooftop to rooftop like Dark Knight style.
No.
But there was like a huge platform that it may have been stuntmen, it could have been the actors, but they actually had to run and jump from with a harness on.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
No, that looked good. Bucky's part looked good, but it was literally the part where the real rooftop with real Bucky, or real Bucky stuntman, was going off against real dude in a green suit or something, Like, if you go back and watch it with the mind to critique the CGI, which I hate myself for because I normally don't think like that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm hanging out with too many people who are like, no, CGI on his mustache looked like shit. Like those people. It's like, dadgummit, now you ruined the scene for me. This was a good scene before. The fight and the cool like choreography between Black Panther versus Winter Soldier, of course, they're both awesome characters, and you're just like, But
I mean, I guess... I don't know. I didn't pay that close of attention. I guess because I was just so enamored by the cool fight.
Right. Which I wish I was.
Yeah. But so do you think that the entire... So you don't think that it was a guy in a Black Panther suit? You think that the entire Black Panther was green screen or CGI?
For the quick action fight scenes, yeah. No, eventually it was our boy...
Because I think essentially... And I don't understand. I don't know a whole lot about CGI, but I do know that it's harder to put a CGI thing versus an actual person. Like, for example, they had a shitty time in Avengers 1 with that one quick scene with Cap and Iron Man fighting together against the Chitauri. because for that scene, it was done so quickly because they realized they couldn't use an actual Chris Evans or stuntman. So they had the CGI both Chris Evans and Iron Man to make that scene work.
It might have been a CGI'd Black Panther and not a green man suit. I really don't know. You're right. I don't know enough about that either to make a fair call.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that it was an actual person in like a Black Panther suit that had a CGI overlay to make it look better.
I mean, that's what my money, that's what I told myself mentally, primarily,
And also just because, I guess to me, if it looked that shitty, I feel like I still would have noticed something. But maybe not. Who knows?
We'd have to go back and watch it together.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want to do that because you enjoyed the scene. I wanted to enjoy the scene, and I did for the fight sake of it. The fight's sake, that made sense. But it bothered me that little turmeric nugget was like right there saying, "You bastard CGI! Like, what are you doing here?" Like, no, shut up. But what's happening next? Please direct us.
Yeah, next we get like the chase scene here where they're all basically chasing each other.
And then Aldi gets some love, of course. That scene, this part,
And it ends with them getting arrested. War Machine here arrests Bucky, Cap, and Black Panther and Falcon.
Which, wow.
Yeah.
You've had a good day.
You
filled the quota.
Yeah. Had a really good day.
Yeah.
Next note here is cooking with vision.
Paprika. Douche. All the paprika.
Oh, jeez. Well, what kind of dish was he making?
It looked like a stew. I don't remember details. Yeah, but it was a stew. I remember our girl tried it out, and she was like, "Yep, this is a pick-me-up, all right." Yeah. And I was like, I guess it was really bad tasting or whatever.
I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah. And she was trying to like use spices to correct spices, which I'm sure Gordon Ramsay watched the movie at this point, lost the sake of the movie, and went straight to his mentality, which was like, nah, you don't do that. You don't. I don't know how to Gordon Ramsay voice-wise, but, just like, I don't know.
So long story short here, Vision is not going to let Wanda out of the house for other people's safety.
Yeah. Why don't we get delivered pizza? Any other person at that point? Yeah, let's do that.
Right. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea, dadgummit.
Screw that. Hey, can we get the good place? I don't want that crappy other place down the street. We gotta get
exactly. Call to the other place. I don't care if it takes another 10. Can you deliver us to the Avengers HQ? Don't worry, we'll give you security clearance.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up, we're in Berlin. Team Cap is in trouble, because they're all just got arrested. Yeah. And, they all kind of sort of get released a little bit. Yeah, except for Bucky.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is our first time seeing Everett Ross.
It was weird how much of a big deal they made about their belongings. Like, there were like multiple parts in different scenes saying, "Here's the receipt for your items," And they gave it a lot of attention, which was kind of like, okay, that's unnecessary, but sure.
Yeah, I mean,
just from my point of view, personally, but it was funny hearing Falcon complain about what they called his stuff bird costume.
Yeah,
I remember that. And I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. So basically right now, Team Cap, they're kind of getting their ashes chewed out. First by Everett Ross, our first time seeing him here.
Yep.
And it was a pretty good scene here. And then we get the Tony and Steve scene here where these two are, kind of going back and forth a little bit here. It does not end well.
No. I liked the scene.
So did I, yeah.
It was one of the better ones.
Yeah, I agree. Now, one thing, though, that I don't want to say I didn't like it, but maybe it didn't fully understand. It seemed almost as if Steve was first going to sign until Tony said something along the lines of Wanda being locked up in the house.
Right.
And then Steve was like, okay, really? You have the girl locked up in the house?
Yeah, no, I wrote down something about this, too. Like, his development did not make sense to me here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand that.
Right.
So that was the straw?
Yeah, that's the one that's going to make you put the pen down?
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, it was just jarring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you're already gonna sign, at least argue real quick. Like, no, just don't lock her up, man.
Right.
Might as well put her on the raft if you're doing that. Nah, don't. Let's not treat her like that.
Yeah, I think they could have found a stronger way to get to that point. Because right now it seems like Cap was almost not wishy-washy, but
like he was literally about to say, you know what, you're right. Let's sign.
Yeah, let's sign. Yeah,
yeah,
which is a big deal,
a huge deal. Yeah, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That would have cut the movie too short, and then that would make Cap lose, quote unquote, in his own movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we go. I actually wrote this question down. How does Zemo gain access to debrief Bucky?
You're so right. How did he do it? Yeah, I get the point where he convolutedly kills a psychiatrist.
He just has his room. ID. That's all he has.
So how
like no one.
Did he fake an ID card? I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many blank spaces that they just they don't literally just skip bridges here, they just jump over them entirely. Like, guys, you're not giving us enough. Like, you just really gave up with this villain.
I mean, first of all, he feels forced into the movie.
Yep.
I mean, he really does.
He was. There's no feeling about it. Like, guys, come on. Where my crossbones at?
No, you guys killed him.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You blew him up. Dadgum, you what the hell?
And he actually looked like he was going to be a good villain. He was physically imposing. He had a plan.
Poor Frank.
Yeah. Frank deserves better.
He did. Bring him back.
Yeah. Let's see. So Zemo, he essentially sets off this giant EMP. It shuts down the security long enough for him to.
How did he sneak it in?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the big one he was building from the hotel.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay, I'll let them have that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll let that one slide.
Sure.
But yeah, so he uses this EMP thing, and I guess it had to be timed just perfectly. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing: he waited to get an email to tell him that the package has been received, quote unquote, meaning that the EMP is ready to go off.
Right.
Now, had he gotten there too soon or too late, then the whole thing would have went to shit.
Right. Like the dude would have said, like, I just signed for this. I'm not expecting this. What is this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the EMP would have went up too early.
Right.
In which case, there would be no need for debriefing. They're not going to let you in.
Yeah.
Or you get there way too early, and so you're like, tell me about your childhood.
Yeah, so how was it like growing up? I hear you and Cap are frenemies.
And they were like, this guy's a shitty psychologist.
Actually, no. At that point, I would have loved to have seen that, come to think of it. Because then he could have done like the cliche psychiatrist thing we all see in like bad TV and movies. How does that make you feel? And that's like all he does. Like that's his job. He's just like, so tell me about your childhood. Just sits here and pretends to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that make you feel? How do I feel about, like, what? Everything I told you? I told you a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah. I'm sensing some frustration coming from you. How does that make you feel?
Well, luckily I'm a psychiatrist and not a psychologist, so that means I can write prescriptions. As he looks off to someone for verification, like, that's right? It's psychi, not psycho? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can write prescriptions. We're giving you some meds.
I mean, and everyone watching's like, man, this guy's really shitty at his job.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyways, so yeah, moving on here.
We're going to call Kevin Feige. We're going to remake the movie.
Bucky should just scream nonsense to avoid the mind control. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, because he was one punch away from getting out. So if you just scream nonsense...
Actually, at this point, they could have really done something funny with some of Disney's previous crap. Like, he's just singing some shit, like... He's a little teapot or something.
Right,
like just singing some song from a Disney movie.
That would have been great.
Like he's just punching the window like, I can show you the world.
I'm a little teapot. Short and stout. Just yell it.
Here's my handle.
Here's my metal arm.
Just like yelling it. Like he's sitting there like trying so hard. Like, longing, rusted.
Yep.
17. And then everyone in the back room at this point would have been like, what the is going on out here?
Oh, shit.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. This could have been a hilarious scene. Someone call How It Should Have Ended and give him these ideas.
I think they did this. Something similar. I think they had him yell during this.
Good, thank you. I kind of want to watch that now. We might have to watch it after this. See what they did.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, man, now it's basically Manchurian Candidate Bucky versus everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
It's Winter Soldier versus everyone in that damn building. And he does really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, toe to toe with 3 people at once. Sharon.
Oh yeah. Even before then, it's Falcon and Cap. He takes them down.
True.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Mm-hmm. Then he moves on, takes down Tony, Black Widow, Sharon, and then T'Challa.
Yeah.
Which, looking at the things that T'Challa's done, when I first saw Civil War, I just automatically assumed that he's taking the heart-shaped herb. Looking at it now, like, look at what he's doing here.
He might not have been able to take it yet because
that's what I'm saying.
Dad
according to the movies,
away.
To the movies, he should not have.
Right.
But
in this point, it looks like he's already jacked up.
Yeah.
Maybe the bodyguards get it too, and we just never saw that.
But he's not he's a prince. I don't. Maybe he got it because he's the prince.
He was also he proclaimed that he was the defender of Wakanda as the Black Panther. Like, he apparently already had that role before he became king.
Oh no, I thought he said that the king was the defender of T'Challa as Black Panther. And now I have that mantle as well as the mantle of king.
Sure. I don't know. That's my final answer. Yeah. Either way, you're right. It looks like he already, like, maybe he brought it with him. You know, he was just like, all right, Dad passed away. Time to pull out my little heart-shaped herb juice. Wait, here I go. Black Panthering.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is another really fun fight scene, though. Just seeing Bucky fuck everybody up.
Yep. I already made one, but I'm going to make another Dragon Ball Z joke. This was his Majin Vegeta form. Yeah.
So next we get Captain America versus a helicopter.
Yeah. And there's some cool facts about this scene, but yeah.
Yeah, like he tore a bicep. Was it a bicep or it was a bicep?
No, he actually tore his bicep. Yeah.
Which makes sense because once again, like just like with the roof jumping scene, like there were actually people that jumped just with a CGI background.
Mm-hmm.
With this, like there was an actual like prop helicopter that Chris Evans was pulling on.
Right. Yeah. So kudos to you guys for this. Yeah. Like it was well done.
It was very well done. Yeah.
I mean, Marvel does these scenes all the time where it's like, oh, let me hold it together. You know, the split pull. Yeah.
I think Sony did it first with Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, the subway thing where it's like...
Yeah, the train car.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And we got Tobey Maguire face from that.
Poor Tobey, man. 3 times he's did this role in these movies, and that's what he's known for in them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. The next scene here we get though is really just is Team Cap escaping. They get Bucky because essentially we get the Ant-Man post-credit scene here.
Yep,
it's when they're in the warehouse and they found Bucky next to the giant magnet. So they're essentially talking about, okay, so there's this guy Zemo, and he has a plan. There's like 5 more Winter Soldiers out there. They're in Siberia. We have to get to Siberia first before he can get there and activate them. So the movie's trying like a cool mislead thing with us.
Right.
And they're like, well, we're going to need some help. We're going to take down 5 Winter Soldiers. And, well, he goes, well, I know a guy. And they both said that they know someone. Captain America was mentioning Hawkeye. And Anthony Mack or Sam was mentioning Ant-Man, Scott Lang. Which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I thought so.
I loved his scene when he was introduced to it all. Like, we gotta get some coffee in him, but he's here.
Yeah.
And then the big reveal.
But actually, first we get the Winter Soldier flashback again to 1991. And that's when we see a lot of like the development here. We know that those 5 packets he took from the back of the car was used with some kind of botched serum.
Another super soldier serum.
Yeah. It made them stronger. It was like stronger than Bucky even, but it did not help with their mental stability.
Right, their sanity is the price they paid for their strength.
Complete sanity. Like Bucky was made into a blank slate, so he was completely malleable. These guys were just went off the reservation.
Right, they were the angry dinosaurs in Jurassic World.
How did they restrain them to put them in those chambers?
Reasons. Just don't think about it. Well, let's move on. Because I don't have anything for you. The movie obviously didn't have anything for us. At this point, all we know is that Bucky got away and next scene. That's literally all they give us, people. I mean, they don't tell us.
They don't. Once again, I'm going to try to write some fan fiction here.
Ooh, please do.
I'm just going to assume that somebody got over the loud comm, just yelled out the control words.
Do they all have the same ones, or do you have to individualize?
No. The guy had to do like 5 different code words to shut them all down.
He's yelling out random shit, just like correct. Mega, guitar, fan club,
7-Eleven. Is that even a word? Who made these?
Who made these code words? They're shite. German joke, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like for 20 minutes, he's like calling out words.
Right. Oh man. The next scene we get though is really good. We get because Captain America apparently is not the only one trying to recruit. We get the Queen scene.
Dude.
Yep, Tony Stark goes to Queens. We see this young kid coming home from school, we can guess by the book bag.
Yeah.
Come home and he sees on the couch with his aunt, Tony Stark.
First, before we see them even, we hear him say, "Hey, Aunt May."
Yeah.
And at this point, my thoughts watching this movie again just the other night, there's a thought you shared earlier, which you're not alone in sharing, which I totally agree with you and the other voices that have shared it. I really wish they didn't show Spidey in the trailers when this movie was, pre-theater stage.
Imagine Mr. would have.
Exactly. Imagine the uproar, the oh shit. It's like, what is that who I think it is a reaction?
Right.
That would have been so awesome.
It really would have been. Because here's the thing. In order to sell tickets for this movie, all you had to do is show us clips of different fight scenes. Show us clips from the airport scene. Don't have Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
Show us that clips from that last fight scene with Bucky, Steve, and Iron Man.
Yeah.
And show us...
That would have been a huge seller. Yeah.
But you don't need to show us Spider-Man to put asses in seats for this.
And you know what? I'm going to dare do this. I'm going to say the same for Black Panther, actually. And that's part of my ultimate thought that I wanted to share about this movie later on, too.
Yeah.
But this movie was a huge reveal for both of them. Thus, don't put either of them in the damn trailer, please. That would have been amazing.
That's the problem with like superhero movies as a whole, man. They can't.
So stupid.
They can't help themselves. We talked about Batman vs Superman the other day, or at least in the context of the trailer, and how they showed both Doomsday and Wonder Woman, when in reality they should have showed neither of those things in the trailer.
And another thing I hate too. I'm gonna rant here, and it's totally off subject, but I'm gonna do it. Damn it! I hate how social media and all these random ass companies that don't really matter for shit in the long run, like your BuzzFeeds and your and your Daily Mails and your wannabe important companies that really are just gossipers, and they share all this. Look at this important secret revealed from Infinity War. Like, how many times a day do I have to scroll through this? And it's like, stop ruining movies.
Well, first of all, here's the thing about this, because I get sick and tired of those things too.
Okay, what's the thing, buddy?
The thing of this that I click on these sometimes.
Oh, dude.
No, listen. I click on them. I click on them a lot.
Sure. And they probably don't have anything.
There's absolutely dog shit in there. They don't talk about anything. It's just clickbait, and it makes me laugh because there's never any, it really is just clickbait. There's nothing of substance in there. It's just them recapping previous movies.
Honestly, as much as that justifies the current problem, that still makes me hate them even more now, just for a different reason. Like,
Yeah, they don't have anything to reveal.
No.
They don't know anything.
Guys, click that whole, go into your Facebook settings and say ignore for these people, all right? Just save yourselves some hassles.
Yeah. And the big one that's been going around now, I've been seeing it everywhere, location of the Soul Gem revealed. Does this toy reveal the Soul Gem? Oh, this Marvel Cup reveals where the Soul Gem is, and it's all bullshit. Yeah. Listen, guys, this is one thing that Marvel has actually done good keeping on the wraps. No one knows where the Soul Gem is at.
Yes, okay? And please don't fall for clickbait bullshit. You're only going to make them more powerful, okay? You're creating Ultron doing this, damn it. Just get pissed at it like I do, and then play a phone game.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's move on here.
Please.
The Spider-Man scene as a whole, I thought was great.
Oh, yeah, it was super good. Tom Holland did great intro to him. Yeah,
it really was.
Still my favorite Spidey.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah. Mine too. By a long shot. Everything about this scene I loved.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just great. I love the chemistry between Tom and I was gonna say Tony and Robert.
It's still playing.
Yep. I mean, everything about this was great. Like it. To a point, it was almost jarring because this scene was so lighthearted and funny in comparison with everything else we've gotten in the movie.
It was more like a scene from Homecoming than it was a scene in Civil War.
It was, yeah. But I thought that as a whole, that this was one of my favorite scenes in the movie that didn't have action in it.
Honestly, it was still. I think the thing that made the scene so good in quality and in what we saw, it was just really the chemistry.
Yeah,
like Tom and Damn it, Tom. It's too easy to say Tom and Tony. Yeah. Tom and Rob, I mean, they were great together. In this and, of course, Homecoming. So it's like, I mean, again, it is jarring. Yeah.
It was jarring, but it was really good. It was really fun to watch. The whole scene was just great. Next up, we get Hawkeye. He's helping Wanda escape. So what happens first is that Vision looks outside and sees an explosion. Did Hawkeye cause an explosion?
I believe so. I think he's smart enough to say, "Oh, let me shoot this arrow far away to make this distraction explosion on something that's probably invaluable." I don't know, something that's like, what did he explode? I don't
know. I mean, maybe it's just an explosive arrow. I don't know.
I hope so, because let's hope he didn't actually explode like some Avenger property. Like, I'm gonna take this spare jet, just park it right here. Yeah.
But I just thought that was pretty hilarious that this man set off an explosion in an attempt to distract Vision.
Yeah.
But it was great seeing Hawkeye come back.
And the good Clint Barton version, not Avengers 1 Hawkeye.
This is still Avengers 2 Hawkeye we have here.
Thankfully. Hopefully the permanent Hawkeye, so don't screw him up, guys.
Yep. Yeah. And it was great seeing him return. Because Jeremy Renner just does such a good job with the role. And I thought it was most appropriate that he's the one that goes to get Wanda.
It
seeing,
is.
Seeing that chemistry from Avengers 1. Yeah.
Good thought.
Avengers 2. Yeah. But Vision is not gone long. He comes back, and there's if you want to call it a fight, there's a fight between Hawkeye and Vision. Kudos to Hawkeye, man, because he does everything he can.
I mean, let's not forget he's just a well-trained human.
Yeah, he's just a well-trained human, and he's clever. He's clever as all get out. But ultimately, though, he knew that he couldn't beat Vision. It's not fair fighting someone who's both intangible and invulnerable,
and someone who's powered by one of the gems. Let's not,
but he gets put down by Scarlet Witch. Did you think anything of it when she attacked him that the mind gem turned red?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, cool detail, made me curious, but I don't think they're gonna do anything with it.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe, probably not. No. My only guess is that because her powers were also fueled from that same gem, that maybe there's some kind of connection. I don't know.
Sure. I have not thought that deep into it for the first time.
Okay. But anyways, they're able to escape once she literally puts his ass through the ground. She said, Vision, I'm going to put you through that goddamn wall. And then she does.
Thank you, Bill Burr. Thank you. F is for family. I love that catchphrase so much.
So,
you know what I really hope his dad actually said that often in his childhood. Oh my gosh. Guys, great TV show. I know it's an animation. Please love it. It's great.
Yeah, it is. F is for family. So the next thing we get here is Black Panther, or T'Challa. He's getting ready to. Looks like he's getting ready to leave, but he has his own agenda, but he has the Dora Milaje with him. So that was pretty fun to see.
Cool.
Yep. Let's see here. The next scene here. Sam cannot move his seat up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So basically, Team Cap, or most of them right now, is Cap, Bucky, and Sam. They're all in this little tiny old ass
Volkswagen Beetle.
VW Beetle, and they're meeting Sharon Carter in some undisclosed location, and she has some of their gear helping them out, and then they finally have the long overdue kiss between the two. Hopefully, Cap has gotten better at kissing since Winter Soldier.
That's true.
Black Widow
was bad at it.
Black Widow was not impressed.
Yeah, how many people have you kissed in your life? Shut up! It wasn't that bad. Shut up.
Yeah. Was that your first kiss since 1945? It was fun though seeing Sam and Buck give him the bro nod in response to the kiss.
Yeah. The bro nod is great.
Yeah,
Don't disrespect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a universal nod. Then the next thing we get here is that I guess they all get back into the VW bug, and they meet at the airport, and up pulls van, and Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch get out, and then out of the back of that van is Scott Lang, Ant-Man. And it was truly great seeing Ant-Man meeting Captain America for the first time. That was a lot of fun.
That. Oh my gosh, you're great.
Yeah,
I'm shaking your hand too long. This is amazing.
He even he kind of touches him with a weird rub. Like, whoa,
I know, right?
Man,
wow, that's hot. Man. Hey, I know you too. He was great. He reminds me of a really close friend of mine. I imagine literally that character portraying an old friend of mine named Sam. Yeah, shout out to you, buddy. But
this was a lot of fun though. And the next thing we get here is probably most people's highlight from the movie.
I had to pull up a picture of the bro nod.
That he did.
Indeed.
We get the airport scene, which is most people's favorite part of the movie. I think it's everyone's favorite part of the movie.
I was about to say, it's the only part of the movie that they were really building up to, Yeah.
And it didn't disappoint.
No.
This was a 17-minute fight scene.
Yeah, you could tell that this was basically the meat. This was the big thing that they wanted the movie to be about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie had a lot of meat to it. And it was just a lot of fun. This scene here alone, it really does make up for a lot of the downfalls that the movie has plot wise.
Yeah,
but this did seem, like a comic book brought to life in this very moment here, and so I thought that was a really powerful scene here. I mean, there's just a lot that happens here, a lot of cool action. Kevin and I, we spoke, I think the first time we mentioned it was in the Age of Ultron podcast about how someday we're going to have to rank these fight scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
This is going to be up there.
This is definitely got to be up there.
Yeah.
It's one of the best. I mean, because it is a really amazing fight scene.
Yeah. And one thing I loved about it, too, if I can just brag on it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're good at. We brag and rag.
Yep.
I loved how the personas of each individual was represented
so well.
That. Yeah,
I was going to say that. Yeah,
you get Tom Holland's innocent youth. You get Robert Downey or Tony Stark's mandating suave charisma. You get his funny reaction with freaking Don Cheadle War Machine here.
Yeah,
it was so great. The whole thing.
Everything about this was great and extremely well thought out. It's like they if it took them 8 months to write the movie, they spent 2 on the plot and 6 on this fight scene.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. So how the hell do we get Zemo here to here? No one cares. They just want to see our fight scene.
Yeah, we'll figure that out later.
Okay,
you know what?
Whip that.
We gotta stop. We said that this is the part where we brag on the movie.
No, we are bragging. Like, the rest of the movie was only leading to this part, and this part was that important and that well done.
It was.
Yeah.
This part truly was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. This may be the best fight scene in Marvel thus far.
Yeah.
It just may be, yeah. But yeah, there's just a lot of fun though here. There's the I really also like one of my favorite parts of this is one of the most subtle parts is when Hawkeye is shooting the arrow with Ant-Man on it, which is taken directly from a comic book cover.
Right.
And so that was a lot of fun to see. But yeah, I mean, everyone pulls out all the stops here.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, I loved a mid-fight quote when Ant-Man does the whole, like, all right, guys, I have one thing I can do. It might rip me in half.
Yeah.
I've only tested it in the lab. You know, there's this one thing I can do that I did once.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, wait, what? I'm not sure this is a good thing.
And then I passed out.
And what was it? Steve all of a sudden turns to Sam. Where'd you get this guy?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, whoa, it worked, I'm big.
Yeah.
Robert, or Tony is all of a sudden, I can't keep it right. Tony's all of a sudden like, okay, does anyone else have this big, awesome, revealing ability that they'd like to pull out now, please? Yeah. Super awesome.
Right. I thought that everyone here looked really good in this scene. If I had to complain, then I say I wish they would have given Black Panther a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, his whole intent here
was to get to Bucky.
Yeah.
I feel like we deserved a longer and meatier Bucky Black Panther fight.
We did, very much so. Yeah, like we could have definitely got round 2 from the rooftops to the airport.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, overall though, like this was just an amazing fight.
right. Yeah. That's us being nitpicky here.
Yeah, that's
the
us
scene
really
is still good.
Yeah, that's us being really, really nitpicky. But yeah, this scene as a whole was just an amazing scene.
Yeah.
Overall, my favorite part of the movie here were these.
Oh yeah, please.
I was just gonna say with these 17 minutes. Yeah.
It was even fitting for Black Widow to react the way she did at the tail end of this scene, where she's like, "Okay," and then douche, run, go. You know, the whole like turn card last minute thing here.
Right.
Like that was her. That's totally her.
It was her, and it didn't come out of nowhere. Had it came out of nowhere, I would have rolled my eyes.
Right.
But they were building up to this moment.
Yeah.
From the get go.
Plus, I mean, that is her character's strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heart. And I love
And
how
plus, her and Steve are friends.
they are.
Yeah.
They've even kissed. But
True.
one thing I also loved, and this might be breaking into the future here a little, but I loved how she's known so much, so well even, for being able to play the sides here, that she literally, without issue on her part, goes to Tony Stark later, and they're like talking, and it's not even a big deal that she turncoated. You know, it's not even a big deal that she was the one who let them get away.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony's just like, oh, hey. And then the plot continues.
He was pissed. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he was pissed, but it wasn't like I can't trust you anymore, you can't work with me, blah, 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 blah.
I'm gonna have to arrest you. Yeah, that's not
No, it was literally like, what the hell, and then plot.
Yep.
Yeah.
But see, next up here, Rhodey gets shot down. Vision is distracted. His vision wasn't too good right here. And he
Go
accidentally... I am home.
No, leave. You can't be here anymore.
Oh, shit.
You made the bad pun this time.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Give it some time. I might think of one.
But yeah, Rhodey gets shot down by Vision accidentally. It's a really good thing that Falcon did the tuck and roll, because what would have happened if Falcon got hit with that shit?
No, he probably would have just been dead, because he didn't have a protective whole suit of armor. You know? Yeah.
I mean, and even if Vision's aim was good enough to just hit the wings, okay, he's gonna fall.
Yeah,
and when he hits the ground,
yeah.
And
that's the thing. Like this whole thing is a fight, but like you can kind of tell, like, yeah, they were just trying to take each other out, but they weren't actually trying to like
kill,
maim or kill or like seriously injure another person. Like they were just like, okay, take him down, take him down, take him down. Oh shit, he's actually going down. You know. Yeah. It's almost like they were. If I have to make the comparison, it's almost like they were just roughhousing, you know. A little bit, and then it's like the older brother accidentally hurt the younger brother a little too hard, and then it's like the dad comes rushing in. What the shit, you know? But
let's go ahead and try to bring this one home.
Yeah, let's do it.
Tony discovers Zemo's plan, kind of. It's because apparently Zemo wanted that to happen. So Zemo called the hotel where he was getting the bacon and coffee. And the woman who delivers his breakfast, she comes in and she sees the actual psychiatrist dead in the bathtub.
Right.
So she calls the authorities, and the authorities tell Tony Stark. And then Tony pulls up the information and realizes, okay, it's Zemo. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I guess then I should follow Captain America and Bucky to this location.
Here's another question real quick before we continue. You know, like, now we finished bragging, now we're ragging. How did Zemo get away from the military base?
So Captain America confronted him, was like, what did you do? And Zemo said something smart. Then Bucky proceeded to literally kick Captain America.
Okay, so but no other soldier, no one competent
else,
individual was able to. No shout out old character from Community was able to come out and stop him. Okay.
Nope.
Okay, no, just wondering. All right, whatever. Nope. Incompetent soldiers or something.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Not calling soldiers incompetent.
Yeah.
Just like.
So here's my thing here.
What's up?
So at this point, Zemo does he wants Cap, he wants Bucky, and he wants Tony Stark all in this one location. I mean, there's a great chance that if the airport scene happened again, that Team Cap loses and they all go to jail.
Right.
So was there a backup plan?
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say no. Let's keep going.
We'll keep it going.
Yeah, just
Tony. He visits the jailed Avengers, and none of them have anything good to say to Tony. I really love the talk between Hawkeye and Tony, because you can really just see Clint's like anger and frustration towards Tony, because Tony still didn't get it. And Tony mentioned, how could you do this if you have a wife, and kids at home? And I think that really just goes to show how important this was to Clint. Like, he didn't just do it for the fun of it,
Right.
He did it because he felt like it was the right thing to do.
He didn't do it because he missed shooting things.
Yeah.
Although he did make a great joke in the airport scene. I wanted to call attention to it.
About the golf
Yeah.
thing?
I tried golf. Played an 18, shot 18.
Yep.
I mean,
that's
beyond legendary.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yep. He still doesn't know who Scott Lang is. So Scott Lang, he gets kind of shut down. He's like, what'd you say? Oh, yeah. Hank Pym told me to never trust a Stark. Stark's like, who are you? And then, surprisingly enough, he does get Falcon to talk about Steve's plan.
Yeah.
I mean, because once again, this is the only way that Tony knows to go to Siberia.
Right.
Because if Falcon doesn't talk, then the plan falls to shit.
Exactly. Then another big ass plot hole that could have happened that honestly, really logically could have come to pass.
Yeah.
Would have just stopped Zemo all entirely.
Yeah.
But then again, that's us calling attention to something. We're literally just like beating the dead horse at this point.
I mean, like at every other scene, there's a moment where
problem.
There's a moment we have to mention. So if this didn't happen, which very well could have, then this plot doesn't come full circle.
Right.
There's just so many moments that we have to point this out in. But let's see. So next up, Steve and Bucky, they make it to the base in Siberia, and so does Iron Man and also Black Panther. Black Panther kind of hangs back, though. He doesn't mind. I guess he doesn't care if the other Avengers kill each other.
Well, I guess he did technically just meet them. Yeah,
that's true, but shit.
That's still kind of like a
yeah.
Yeah, good point. That's still kind of like a dick mentality.
Even after he stops Zemo, like you can stop Zemo, find a way to put him down without killing him, and then go and be like, Captain America, maybe you should, or Iron Man, maybe you guys should stop.
Yeah,
and no, he just no.
Nah, he's just.
Oh, damn, T'Challa.
He's more awestruck by his personal revelation.
Yeah.
I will not let vengeance consume me. Yeah.
But let's see. So Zemo is. Oh yeah, I have written down here. Zemo is the role's most petty villain, because he is. He's doing all this just because. He lost his family and all this and that.
Yeah.
To our surprise, he killed the other super soldiers that were in the chambers that we don't know how they got there, and we didn't get that fight, that 5-on-3.
Yeah, that would have been kind of fun, you know. Yeah. Maybe done before, sure, but still fun.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
There's a few things here that Zemo does say that are kind of cool dialogue-wise, but the way he just goes about it, it still makes me spiteful against him.
Yeah, and he shows the video. This time we finally get to see to its completion. Yeah. And the video basically Winter Soldier killing Tony's parents quite brutally, and that sets Tony off. And here, I just kind of have to throw my hands up because it's fun and as cool as this last fight scene is. It just
again, you're rolling the dice.
You're rolling the dice on whether Tony would do this or not. You're rolling the dice on this scenario even happening in the first place, and also you completely forgetting the entire reasoning and purpose of the Civil War plot from the source material. You're just completely overlooking that. You're not making this a plot about Sokovia. You're not making this a plot about what's right for the world. You're making this a personal vendetta.
Right. At this point, you're dealing with a very, mentally young Iron Man versus who he was at this point in the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
In the comics, it was damn great who he was, respectable and everything. Here, he's still, your fun-loving, joke-making, head-first reacting dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realized after watching this movie for a third time, the only reason that Zemo is in this movie is because Marvel is too afraid to make Iron Man look like an antagonist. That's
okay. I can see that in a sense. Yeah.
That's the only, because think about it, Zemo's not necessary for this. If this is where they wanted to go, Zemo's not necessary.
Yeah, they easily could have rewritten parts and really just filled in gaps in others,
right?
And make it so that really there wasn't a villain, but more the way things were carried out, antagonistic things were happening. More on the represented part rather than a person is this guy part,
right?
Rather than a villain.
Yeah,
which would have really been a whole different kind of gamble. That would have been a cool thing to watch, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think this movie needed a quote unquote antagonist.
Right. Yeah.
It just muddied the plot.
It really did. You wasted a good acting power. You wasted a good villain. Yeah. And you threw away a damn good plot of a comic book and shredded it in a daggum paper shredder, and you burned part of it and said, let's put this back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you did it all for vengeance. You did it all because you just knew that this would send Tony Stark into a rage. And, screw the Sokovia Accords, screw all those people that died. This isn't about any of that now. Yeah. This is about me trying to kill Bucky because of something that the government made him do.
Right.
The same government that you're backing.
And I know that better men than me have tried to defeat the Avengers. I know I couldn't. Yeah. But if I could just make them fight each other, if I could take an empire down from inside, then...
It's almost comical
It kind of is, just in retrospect. I mean, in the moment, his dialogue and his reasoning, like, you destroy it from within. Okay, that makes more sense than trying to chip away at this and you're nowhere near as capable as, like, Loki or something. Yeah, sure, but...
At the end of the day, his plan really didn't come even close to happening.
His quote-unquote plan.
Yeah, because, like, guess what? The Sokovia Accords was a thing with or without you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Zemo, at the end of the day, he wasn't needed, man, and he didn't need to be called Zemo. And there's just so much that's wrong here. The Civil War plot they throw to the side because apparently that's not good enough.
Yeah. And actually, I think it's time now to talk about this. My thought that I wanted to share earlier, the thought, my ultimate revelation about this movie after we've watched it and we've finished almost the entirety of the plot line now. We're coming to the wrapping up end of it. One, we've already mentioned. They threw this movie away. They threw away the plot, the great comic book idea that it was. They threw it away for some awesome fight scenes and for a big what if situation.
Yeah.
And doing so, this is honestly my I keep calling it this, my big thought. They created a placeholder movie. Like this big played out, we're gonna have this Civil War, this huge awesome idea, which could have been one of the best.
It could have.
Just became a segue movie. It became unimportant, just like canonical fodder, really, between here and where you want to go. You didn't take advantage of it, Marvel. You didn't say, let's make this another quality movie. You said, let's use this to continue spinning and weaving the tale that we want to tell and just not give two shits about it, but rather use it as a pathway for a bigger story. Well, I hope that bigger story is worth it, damn it, you know?
Right.
I mean, you used it to flash Spider-Man, which, congrats, you did so by showing him off in the trailers.
Yep.
And you did it to introduce Black Panther, which, congrats, you also did so by showing him off in the trailers.
Yep.
Granted, both of those movies were successful.
Agreed.
But that was literally the point of this movie. To show great action, to introduce two new characters, and honestly, to be a wasted shithole, just segueing us away on literally a crappy segue into a better movie.
Yeah, exactly, because I can't imagine an Avengers 3 or Infinity War. I can't imagine that they still fight amongst another when Thanos is wrecking shit. You know?
Right.
I mean, so at this point, it really doesn't. It just doesn't. It doesn't lead to anything ultimately.
No, I mean it. Again, I mean the synopsis of my thought. They threw it away.
You're right.
And that's the ultimate sadness I came to whenever I finished the movie the other night. Just like, this was just another Captain America 1. You know, this was just. This was just, again, hey, here's some shit to make the audience happy. Let's throw this at them while we, hopefully, while we work on Infinity War or something, you know? I mean,
and and once again, the fight scene we get here, like the 3-way fight with Bucky and Steve versus Iron Man, it's a fun scene to watch, but this is just one of those cases. Civil War ultimately ends up being a movie that doesn't live up like Logan lives up to Old Man Logan. Like, it doesn't live up like Winter Soldier the comic lives up to, or the movie lives up to Winter Soldier the comic. It doesn't. It falls short of its comic book predecessor.
Oh yeah, like the only thing they have in relation to each other is name.
Yeah,
you know.
And it's not because of who's in the comic versus who's in the movie. I don't care about that. It's not about that.
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
So this was a huge deal back in late 2013 or early 14. I can't recall. Max Brooks. You might not know his name, but I remember it because of this one bit of news. He was the author of a little famous book that got 15 minutes of famedom. How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse. And he also wrote another book, World War Z, right? Yeah. And it was critically acclaimed because it was super detailed. But that's not what I'm getting to. What I'm getting to is when the movie came out starring Brad Pitt, it was a great movie. Like, quality, story, acting-wise, everything about it I loved. It was super good. But Max Brooks literally quoted before the movie came out, "This is not mine. This is mine in name alone. I demand you take me out of this movie because this is slandering my work. This is nothing like my book." And it wasn't. I read a quickly little thing about his book, and I read into a couple of chapters of it, and there was no protagonist. Every chapter was a different story. It was one of those.
Right.
So in this case, I find it to be the same problem. We now representing the Max Brooks saying that this piece of shit is not Civil War.
As I was rereading Civil War, not to brag, people, but I have the deluxe edition. As I was rereading it, I started last night, and I actually started with the preface at the very beginning, and as the author Miller. I know all these guys by their last name because their last names are what's on the cover. I think it's Mark Miller. I could be making that up.
Give me a second.
But anyways, I read the preface at the very beginning, and reading that got me hyped to read the story just because of his brutal honesty about putting it together, about how hard it was to organize the story and to make it cohesive, to have all the tie-ins, to do something that has at this point never really been done before. There's been versus, hero amongst hero before, but never on this kind of scale, and never, for such a moral dilemma. And so that really made this conflict or that story a lot more fun to read. Reading about like all the hardship that he and the other writers and artists put into it. But so just to see his labor of love, and then to see how they really do kind of throw away the movie here doesn't sit well.
Yeah. No, I looked it up. Yeah, you're right. Mark Miller. He did a lot of great work. Civil War, Old Man Logan, in fact, too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I kind of want to, I always brag on Winter Soldier, the movie, and I say, the movie was so good, probably in part due to the fact that that Eric Brubaker helped write the movie, and Eric Brubaker, of course, wrote the comic. So I often wonder if they got Mark Miller, to help write this movie.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine what he would have done at the screenplay, like at the script reading table? Just like, okay, stop. How the hell did we get here?
Yeah. Like, we're on page 2, sir.
No. Stop. What the shit is this so far?
Yeah.
No. Who's Winter Soldier? Get this out of here.
I mean, I understand having Winter Soldier in the movie.
Sure.
Because you need the manpower in order to fill, this movie. And it makes sense.
And plus, Sebastian Stan is great. I'd love to see him on screen. This was a cool time to do so. But making him the centerpiece of the Civil War,
let's go ahead and wrap this one up here.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm all angered out.
Yeah. So the fight was great, but it felt empty because of the reasoning for the fight.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Captain America technically wins. He walks away. He leaves the shield.
And of course, he leaves like a last minute of good, heart pumping, heavy, mood feeling monologue that made things more okay. Not okay, but more okay between him and Tony.
Oh, hey, he does that actually a little later on. He sends it like a letter to Tony. So Zemo's whole plot was that he wants the Avengers to kill each other, but no one is dead, and the closest death came from something that had nothing to do with him. Let's see. Rhodey is in rehab with some medical technology help from Tony.
Yeah,
and
which looked cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. We get the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, Tony Stank.
Yep. Yeah. Tony Stank gets a letter from Steve, and a burner cell phone as well to contact them. And in that letter, Tony or Steve is trying to, I guess, kind of rebuild a broken bridge and all that. Question, real quick, going back to the fight scene one last time, the last fight scene.
Sure.
Do you think that Tony would have killed Steve in this fit of rage if he could have?
Comic book version?
No.
Hell no. Movie version? I think so.
I think so too, and I was afraid of that.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. Robert is so damn good at Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But I really want to see more character progression there. He's done amazing, but I want even more. I want more similarities, really, between him and comic book, is what I'm truly deep down saying, you know?
Right.
At this point, it wasn't there.
Agreed.
Yeah. It was cool that they did actually have the whole, like, okay, scan his technique part. Like, why didn't you go in with this, please? You know, like, that's what my sorry ass would have done, but whatever.
Yeah. Let's see here. So at the very end, it's implied that Captain America he breaks out the New Avengers from the jail. General Ross calls Tony to tell him. Tony ignores the call. So
as he said he would.
I don't know if this means like if it's everything all good between them. I don't.
That's what they made it feel like. But
I mean,
it's really like a head scratcher. Then
the movie really is all for nothing. You know,
it really is. Like, even without the scene, it kind of is.
Yeah. Let's move on here. We get the mid-credit scene, and that is when we get Steve, Bucky, and T'Challa. They're in Wakanda. And you know, Bucky decides he needs to be put in cryo sleep again. You know, just so they can figure out how to get his mind straight. You know, because there's probably another book out there. I mean, so I understand.
Yeah, I mean, you know that there's some janitor who is just like, oh, these are the words. Okay, I want him to do my chores for me.
And then we get like a cool shot of Wakanda as Steve goes, you know, people come from right, and T'Challa replies, let them come. And then the post-credit scene is Spider-Man. Yep. He's in his bedroom. Aunt May comes in. She probably thinks that he was masturbating or something.
Oh no! He had the bully thing. So okay.
It's just he's just acting really bizarre.
His wordplay here was super fun. Like, his name was Steve, and he had a really big friend, Ant-Man. It was cool. It was cute.
It was a fun scene, and I think it was also fun, you know, just because we've seen Black Panther, you know, since the airport fight, obviously, but we didn't see Spider-Man really since then. So I guess there was really just them, you know, telling us that he's fine, he's back home. But that's the movie, man.
How did he get the thingy? Was that just part of the costume?
Part of the suit, yeah.
I guess I'll just assume that. Literally both the cutscenes were for the two characters they wanted to introduce in this movie. You know,
which it worked. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with them.
Begrudgingly, yeah.
So what did you think of Civil War, Kevin, now that we've reviewed
Now
this?
that we've reviewed it and you're asking me afterwards again, damn it. I mean, there are so many things wrong with the movie, but the things that were good were really good, you know, like the fight scene was awesome, the introduction of Tom Holland was awesome, Black Panther was awesome. I mean, but those were literally the only things they cared about. Everything else was just like, throw it to the wind and see what sticks, you know? Like, it might as well have just been like a dartboard session. Like, let's put all these ideas on the dartboard and throw it. Oh, that one stuck? Alright, that's the one we're going with. Flat 7. So better than past ones. Yeah. Definitely one of the weaker ones nonetheless, but still.
Yeah. From a plot standpoint, this is one of their weaker movies. Because they do aim really high with the concept, you know, adapting Civil War. I mean, hey, that's a hefty thing.
This could have been an Avengers 3 movie. It could have been, you know, and that's what people were calling it. But
I mean, you're right though. At the end of the day, it's a great visual spectacle. It's a lot of fun to watch for the fight scenes and for the characters. But as far as the story goes, it really does fall flat. And they failed to capture what made the story from the source material so special. I gave it a 7.5.
Okay. Yeah. I would really love to have Mark Miller sit here with us one day. That's an invitation, Mark. And like talk to him about how he feels.
Right. Because obviously
his work being put into movies like this, like his opinion about the Civil War, and then freaking Logan. You know,
I mean, I feel that he would definitely appreciate Logan more than than this movie, and it's not just because Logan is the better movie. It's because Logan captures the spirit of the graphic novel.
Like, they did so much more with it. Yeah,
even though once again, like the source material is way different from the movie, it still captures the spirit of Logan, of Old Man Logan. Like, it still understands, that Logan is an old, beaten down man, and now he has one last purpose, that he's trying to fulfill here, and it captures that beautifully, and it understands that. With Civil War here, they never come to a conclusion, as to who's right and who's wrong here. I don't know if it's because they're afraid to or not. They have an antagonist in this movie in the form of Zemo, and once again, I think it's because they were afraid to make Tony look like a bad guy. Ultimately, they really don't capture the essence. So.
And I don't think it even necessarily had to be Tony to be the bad guy. Just like the way that Tony and team followed through.
I'm not saying that Tony should be a bad guy or was going to be a bad guy. It's just that they were afraid that he would be perceived as a bad guy.
Right. Which I suppose ultimately, if you turn his team, their efforts into the antagonistic viewpoint, then that would have been seen as he's leader of the team. They did the bad. Oh, then he's good point. That would have been the easy piece together for most audience out there. But you're right. They wasted so much.
Yeah. Still a fun movie to watch. Once again, though, just like Age of Ultron, you kind of have to turn off your brain to the plot and just kind of try to enjoy it for what it is.
I'm tired of movies like this, man. I overthink too much shit. I can't turn it off.
Yeah. But that's going to be it for tonight, guys. I'm proud of us. We finished with like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Hey, that's kind of record for us.
It is, cause especially seeing that the movie is like longer than the podcast for once.
Right. See, that's what we're talking about.
Yep. This Sunday and also next Sunday, we'll be covering Jessica Jones Season 2. Yeah, we're going to split it up. We're going to talk about the first 6 episodes. How many episodes?
It's 13. I looked it up. It is 13.
Yeah, we can still do the first 6 this first Sunday. 6, and then the following Sunday, we'll cover the back half of the season.
Which makes sense. I did finish it, by the way.
Nice,
it's just kind of in preparation. I'm going to have to rewatch some of it to get more detail.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. We're going to do 7 for the second half, and we didn't plan this out, but I'm going to share it with you now. The second half was admittedly, for Netflix, being on par with itself, it was a little
stretched out.
Yeah,
yeah,
just a wee bit.
A little par for the course there.
Yeah,
but
hey, more golf puns.
Yep.
But guys, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
Next Wednesday, of course, we'll be covering Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Sorcerer Supreme. And, so that's going to be
another
it for now,
Netflix option. Yeah. Another Netflix option, yeah.
Strange,
yeah. Oh, my God.
But, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close up shop for the night. But once again, we appreciate you guys listening in. As always, if you guys have any kind of, questions, comments, gifts, threats, food, supplies, or, any other kind of...
Or, again, an invitation from earlier, any opinions on your take of the Civil War, which side you would have wanted to choose, maybe more based on the comics and the movie, then please hit us up. Tell us why and what you're feeling, Yep. Let us be educated of your feelings.
Yep. Hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or the Facebook page, Superhero Homies. And, of course, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, or feel free to leave us a review on iTunes as well. We're going to go ahead and shut it down, guys. And as always, I'm Quentin.
I'm Kevin.
See you next time.